great pleasure to introduce the founder of this race, whom I think at the time that he created it probably had no idea that it was going to become what it has become. But without him, it certainly couldn't have happened. So please, and by the way, he continues to run the race every year. An excellent runner and an excellent stretcher. Please join me in welcoming the former Speaker of the House, Bobby Crim.
Thank you very much, Pat. We're fortunate to have the best race director in the United States. I have to say something, Mr. Myers. He thinks he's old. I've got old running shoes from the 1960s as old as he is. And it just seems like yesterday that I walked out of here from getting ready for the 35th running of the Crim. Does it pass fast or doesn't it? Yeah, it does. And I was just thinking back to those early years when we did sit around Lois Craig's kitchen table and plan this race, not knowing at all what would happen, not having any idea how the community would embrace it, not having any ideas that as of today, hundreds of thousands of runners, thousands of volunteers have participated and made this a success. And Jerry Myers came to us about 6 or 7 years ago with good ideas, and he's put them in motion with the help of a good staff. And by the way, staff, stand up. Let's see you, staff members. This always gives me my chance to use my favorite joke. When Jerry and Marty came to us 6, 7 years ago, they brought brains and beauty. That covers Marty. What the hell did Jerry bring? But anyway, over the years, it's developed into, as Mark Yonan says, more than a race. With the Fitness Foundation and with the ideas that's come from that, they've reached out and embraced every fitness organization in the community, whether it be biking or kayaking or running or whatever. They've been brought together to really bring fitness to the fore. I'd like to say something about our sponsors. Boy, what would we do without them? Some of them have been with us for so long. And Health Plus, Citizens, Patsy Lou, Dave Isabel from the Grand Blanc Motor. He not only is a sponsor, but he's a member of the Chairman's Circle, another $10,000 of investment. Boy, what these sponsors has meant to us, all of them. I run a lot of these races, and in the last 44 years, I've run over 900 races. I'm getting to the point that I had several surgeries, one of them just 2.5 months ago, but I'll be out there running tomorrow. I don't know how many more I'll be running, but tomorrow I'll be thinking about a lot of guys I started running with a lot of years ago. And Jim Ramey, who ran until he was 88 years old, 89 years old. Ed Weiberg, bless his heart, who ran the first Crim in street shoes, the famous shoes that we've all seen. Larry Brown. All these people are not with us anymore. And I think of Dan Walters, who ran all the way up, and Dr. Dan Walters from Davison, who ran all the way up until last year. Now he can't. Physically, he just cannot do it. And I think of Jim Forsey. He'll be here tomorrow if they have to carry him in on a stretcher. And he's 4 or 5 years older than I am. What a great runner he was. internationally, set records all over the world. But he'll be here tomorrow. Like me, he won't run it as fast as we used to. I checked back with Riley to see how fast I did run it. In the year I was 50 years old, I ran it in 66 minutes. When I was 51, I ran it in 66 minutes. When I was 52, I ran it in 67 minutes. It won't take me quite twice as long as that tomorrow, but it will take me a long time. One thing I know, I'll be thinking of these guys that I used to run with, who either aren't here or can't do it anymore. One other thing I want to talk about. Cashew Point. Many of you have heard about Cashew Point. That's where you get the donuts and the beer before the 4-mile mark. For 20 years, this has been a point of celebration, bands going, everything. And this is their final year too. After 20 years of helping raise money for Special Olympics, they're bidding it adieu. Thank you very much, Mr. Conlon, for what you've done and the joy that you brought many of us as we rounded the point there. Now, I say this might be my last one, but there could be one thing. If the mayor ever decides to run the 10-mile, I'll come out of retirement. I don't see Lois Craig here in the audience, but Lois Craig is as responsible as anybody, for what has happened to this race. 17 years, the unpaid director, the unpaid race director. And she started the runners coming from internationally. We got a little telegram from one of our first international runners. Somewhere here, I think I have it. When you get old, you have those senior moments. You don't know what you've heard. Somewhere it's here. Steve Kenyon was probably the or one of the best runners in the Commonwealth back in the 70s. Steve came here and ran 10 Crims, and he won the first one, and he won another one as well. And he came back a few years ago to see us. And he sent us a telegram recently, and I want to read it. He said, "It's hard to believe that it's 35 years ago that I received a phone call asking me to compete in a 10-mile road race in Flint, Michigan. But having never been to the States before, naturally I was very excited. It was a life-changing moment for me. The start of a very special relationship. I had 10 great years of competing in the Crim, was very happy to have won twice. Every time late August comes around, I say to my wife, it's Crim time. It really was great to come back in 2006, and I hope someday to return. And again, my regards and best wishes to all." Thank you, Steve, for what you did as the first international runner to come here. Lois Craig was responsible for reaching out to those international runners. And now, of course, Greg Myers keeps bringing them back and everything. Now, I want to say something about our Olympians. How proud I am. Thank you, Title IX, for what you've done for women athletes in this country. Thank you. Thank you, women, for winning all those gold medals, twice as many as the men did this time, by the way. And with Greg Myers, I too am a fan of boxing, having been a pretty good Navy lightweight some many years ago, and having helped out with the Golden Gloves for many years in Flint. And the highlight of my time in boxing was when I got to referee a match between Muhammad Ali and Jimmy Ellis. Now, I know you won't believe that, so I brought the picture, so anybody wants to see it. And I brought it especially for Teresa. I wanted her to see that. See, the guys on our boxing team ought to watch her. She already knows. Everything comes off that jab. The hook, the cross, whatever, comes off that jab. They better watch you, Teresa, because if they watch you, they'll learn how to fight. Thank you, Olympians. Thank you, volunteers, runners, sponsors, and say, when you want to buy something, look at the sponsor list. If it's a car, insurance, athletic equipment, whatever it is. They invest in this community. We should invest in them. Thank you.